Hi everyone, I'm Mark Rosenthal along with Sean Greenhow on this beautiful Wednesday. Finally we got the sun back,
The
huh?
sun is back now. This beautiful Chamber of Commerce Day, we call this.
Awesome, and the backyard's looking great. I'm sure you did all this, right? Is that correct?
That's not correct, no. No credit for any of that.
So, tell me about Greenhow. What do you guys do?
We do pest control and plant health care. So we do pest and termite control on structures.
Right.
And we do lawn and plant health care on the outdoor environment.
Okay, do you plant shrubbery? Do you do anything like that?
We only
do you plant new
apply.
lawns or anything
No,
like
we
that?
don't. We only apply to finished materials.
Okay.
So for a structure, obviously we apply material for termiticide to control termites on a structure or ants on a structure or rodents. And out here, we apply material to either the lawn for lawn health care or the plants for winter moth and insect and disease control on the plants.
Okay, so because it's early spring, it's still early May, what should the average person be doing if they have a nice yard and they want to get it back in shape and they're worried that the grass isn't green enough or there might be bugs? I mean, what should you be looking for?
Number one thing this time of year is going to be adding nitrogen. You want to add fertility to the lawn, and that's going to give you good green up and good color, mostly for the lawn and turf, but also for your shrubs. Probably the most overlooked thing people don't do is their woody ornamentals, things like behind us we have a pyrus and a pear. Those types of plants need nitrogen and need fertilization. And so the basic nitrogen feeding the plants is the most efficient thing to do. And the second thing is to look for insects. The outside environment, there's two types of insects that we deal with. We have the damaging insects, which is the winter moth and the grubs, which obviously damage and cause a pest that changes how that plant looks.
Okay.
And then for us, there's things like flying around us. So you have mosquitoes, or
Obviously,
ticks and
all the
things.
time, right.
Yep. So those are the annoying and disease-causing insects. And for those, the habitat for that is it's important to identify the habitat and treat the habitat. Like for example, when we treat for mosquitoes, we're focused on water sources. So we want to look for any place that water can rest in the size of a upside-down soda cap. That's anything bigger than that. So we want to look at gutters, look at overturned toys, things like that. For ticks, we're looking at this perimeter where this mulch and the grass meet.
Right.
The tick migration zone doesn't go further than what we are from the edge of the turf here, which is about 6 to 8 feet into the turf.
Okay, well, that's something, but let me just jump in. I'm sorry to interrupt you here. Because it's still early May, are there certain times of the season that people should be doing certain things to their lawn and their garden?
Yep. So right now.
Okay, early May.
Yep, early May. It's important to put fertilizer down early. It's also the next step that's about to hit us is to put grub control down before the grubs occur. You always want to be ahead of the season you're in.
So in terms of grubs, do you want to do that before it hits 90 degrees? Do you want to do that before June 1st?
No, you want to do it before June 20th.
Before June 20th.
So you want to do it while the grass is actively growing, so the material can enter the plant and be active in the plant before the grubs are going to be active, and they're going to be active in July. So getting right ahead of that's important.
Okay.
You do not want to be putting anything on your turf when the temperature is above 85 degrees.
Right.
Whether insecticide, herbicide, whatever. The best thing to do in the summer, keep even your mower off it.
Okay.
If it's afternoon, don't go on the turf.
All right.
We call that benign neglect.
Benign neglect.
So benign neglect is always better than active harm.
Okay. Well, listen. Let me ask you this: in terms of watering plants and lawns, when is the best time to do that? Is it better to do it in the morning and have the full sun be able to dry it?
No, you're exactly right. Your instincts are correct. Morning's the best time to water your turf and your ornamentals. You do want the sun to dry it. When people water at night, what they do is they promote disease. And disease on plants is fungus.
Right.
And the leaf you'll get leaf spot, you'll get fungal disease on turf. And so watering anytime after noontime is probably a bad idea. If you just seed something, you want to keep that seed wet, that's a different story. For the first week or so, you want to definitely water 3 times a day, but you're not watering the existing vegetation, you're just keeping the dirt wet. And so once the dirt has gone beyond 1, 2, and 3 weeks and you now have germination, you're strictly in the morning again because you're not trying to get the foliar leaf to be wet after 12 o'clock.
So it sounds like people should really hire you versus thinking that they can do all these things by themselves.
Your thinking. No, absolutely.
Well, because you really need to know what you're doing. You really need to know exactly what you're trying to do and what you're trying to do it with. And it seems to me there are certain times of the year to do it, at certain times of the day, and how often you should be doing this. Throughout the growing season. So a guy like you, Sean Greenhow from Greenhow, knows it all.
Yeah, well, I would say, I of course agree with you that I know it all, but in many cases, any professional could tell you, will counteract your instincts as a homeowner. Some instincts are correct, like you want to water in the morning, but many homeowners have instincts where they want to seed in the spring.
Right.
And applying grass seed in the spring is usually fruitless here in New England. All that repair work should have been done in the fall. So in the spring, you're
Really?
talking about, you're talking about weed control in the spring. Now,
See-
you want to grow corn, now's a great time to plant corn.
I've always ripped up my grass in the spring.
No,
You-
it's
you-
totally reversed. No.
Really? I
The
mean,
best
I would
time-
do it. I would do it in June.
Yep.
And then, because it's nice and hot.
Yep.
And then I would lay out, the grass seed. First, I would dig it and
Yep,
make
yep.
sure it's smooth, and then I'd put the seed down.
Yep.
Then I put starter fertilizer
Yep,
down.
okay.
Then I would stamp on it.
Yep.
Then I would rope it off, and then I would water it several times a day because when you're planting
Yep.
seed, as you know,
Yeah.
the big seed thing is you can't let it dry out.
No, but what you end up with then in mid-July, you have
Right.
some little grass seedlings and you have a lot of crabgrass.
Right.
Right, and because crabgrass, in the good grass seed like a bluegrass or nice tall fescue, they have 28 days to germination. So you plant it, 28 days later, you're going to get germination. Your ryegrass is going to germinate in 7 days.
Right.
All soil in New England contains millions of crabgrass seeds. You cannot purge or clean out crabgrass seeds if you want. You can't bring in fresh seeds, so it's just not possible. And crabgrass seeds are going to germinate faster, and weeds will always outperform turf grass.
Okay.
So when you do it, the best time to do it is August 15th to September 15th.
Really?
Just before true fall,
Right.
as you know,
Yeah.
September, it's 21st. Because what you have then is 28 days of germination and growth that can happen in the fall, so you get a nice, healthy lawn that's ready to harden off for winter. So in the spring, if you look at a curbside, where crabgrass in New England is very aggressive on curbsides, if you look at a curbside that's nice and green right now in May, it's because somebody did the right things last fall. Now, if you see one that's inundated with crab right now,
Right.
you inevitably see a homeowner out there trying to fix it.
Right.
They're going to be frustrated. They're
So-
going to see the seed failed, the fertilizer failed. It's not that.
So what do you do now that it's spring? You go out in your backyard and you see you have crabgrass, but you also have a lot of good, healthy grass.
Yeah.
Can you kill the crabgrass without ruining the rest of your lawn?
Right now, if they're seeing something they suspect is crabgrass, it's probably not crabgrass. It's too early for crab. So crab is just starting to germinate. So if they see something now, they're dealing with orchard grass,
Right.
which is it's a confused, but orchards are perennial. But the point is, right now, when you treat weeds in the spring, you can certainly do spot treatments for weeds in the spring, and you can do them with a spot treatment that won't kill grass. So you have to use a selective herbicide, and that's okay to do. But all the energy is coming for annuals like crabgrass. That will be effective.
Okay.
For a perennial like a dandelion or ground ivy, all the energy is coming from the root zone up into the leaf tissue, and as that occurs, then you're going to get some kill of the plant, but not total kill. If you treat in August and September, as the plant is using the leaf tissue to pull sugars back into the root zone, it's always also pulling the herbicide in, so that's the most effective time to treat it.
You sound like you know what you're talking
Well,
about. I
thank you
think I
very
might
much.
hire you. Okay, so you're Sean Greenhow.
Yes.
And people can find you. Listen, why don't you give your phone number and your website?
Okay, it's greenhow.com, which is the color, then the question, Greenhow, and then my phone number is 800 Greenhow, just my 800, which is also my last name.
And you have somebody there, once the phone rings, they'll
7
pick it
a.m.
up?
Yep, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday, and 8 to 12 on Saturday.
Okay, so call Sean Greenhow. I think that's one forecast you can count on where things are going to work out. I'm meteorologist Mark Rosenthal. Thanks for joining us.